Well, hello, fellow horror trivia lovers, and welcome to Season 3 of Mike Cadaver's Horror Pub Trivia. I'm Mike Cadaver.
And I'm Betty Cadaver. And this season, I have decided we're going to be calling it something different.
What?
Betty Cadaver's Horror Pub Trivia.
Because,
let's just get this straight. I'm a very big part of the show, and my name's not in the title. And I know everyone's really coming to see me. No, you're okay.
Whether that's true or not, I did not mean to make this a hubristic project about me.
Okay.
I made this assuming that I would be doing it all by myself, but then my lovely wife, who apparently is so nice and so wonderful, decided to help me with it. So, you're right. Welcome to Betty Cadaver's Horror Pub Trivia.
I hope you've all been brushing up on your horror knowledge, because we've got a new season.
Well, how do you feel about bringing the best horror trivia on the internet to these people?
After 2 seasons and a few specials, I've learned a lot about horror fans.
Okay.
They like gross stuff.
Yeah.
Like on-screen sex,
some of them are really
violence, gore, but that's just you. I think
Sure.
I think the other ones might be okay.
Oh, come on. That's very rude. And how about this?
What?
Why don't we go ahead and teach these fine folks how to play? Here is the Trivia Gorilla.
Just your everyday trivia gorilla here. Here's how this all works. The idea of this is that you're in your favorite pub playing trivia with your friends. For each episode, we'll have 3 rounds of 10 questions. The rounds get harder, so if you're using our app, later rounds are worth more points. Speaking of the app, visit trivia.horrorpubtrivia.com. All the information you need is there. If you don't use the app, a regular pen and paper will work too. Other than that, prepare yourself for spoilers and have fun.
If this isn't your first time playing Betty Cadaver's Horror Pub Trivia, you know that this first round is kind of a warm-up. We give you some clues and you name the movie.
Yeah, but it's just a warm-up, like you said. So if you suck, it's okay to suck, I guess.
Sucks to suck.
Question number 1. What Cronenberg-helmed film from 1981 is truly, even literally, mind-blowing? Question number 2. What 1992 film that was written and directed by Richard Stanley features a strange wanderer in Africa? Question number 3. What 80s slasher stars Linda Blair as a sorority pledge? Question number 4. What is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5's subtitle? Question number 5. What true story from 1976 features a killer in Texarkana that wears a sack on his head? Question number 6. What is Halloween 5's subtitle? Question number 7. What Stephen King adaptation centers around a gypsy curse? Question number 8. What is the name of the eco-horror film from 1979 starring Talia Shire? Question number 9. What is the subtitle for Prom Night 3, 1989? Question number 10. What remake or reimagining that came out in 2022 had characters named the Asphyx, the Weeper, and the Gasp?
What Cronenberg-helmed film from 1981 is truly, even literally, mind-blowing? Scanners. We're all familiar with one of the greatest scenes in horror movie history. What some of us may not know is how that effect was captured. After some trial and error, the desired effect was attained by filling up a fake head with meat stuffs, latex scraps, and other miscellaneous gross things, and then Gary Zeller, the special effects supervisor on the film, crouched behind the prop and shot it in the head with a shotgun. Well, as we all know, it looked great. Number 2. What 1992 film that was written and directed by Richard Stanley features a strange wanderer in Africa? Dust Devil. This lesser-known film in Richard Stanley's oeuvre is all about a woman who leaves her abusive husband, then thinks it's a good idea to pick up a hitchhiker who turns out to be a killer. Known for its troubled production in many versions, this is definitely worth a watch regardless of which cut you get your hands on. Number 3. What 80s slasher stars Linda Blair as a sorority pledge? Hell Night. This is an interesting slasher that may not be as well known as some other slashers of its time. It stars Linda Blair, and I would think that would be enough of a draw for people to really be into this one. Some have said this one is about this clashing of social classes when it comes to pledges in the family and the legend. There even is a conversation about capitalism and the division it creates. For me, I don't bother with any of that in the movie. I'm just here for the sleazy slasher fare. Number 4. What is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5's subtitle? The Dream Child. I'll never forget Freddy Krueger exclaiming in his sing-songy voice, "It's a boy," in the commercial that played on television when I was a kid. Number 5. What true story from 1976 features a killer in Texarkana that wears a sack on his head? The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Loosely based on the Texarkana Moonlight Murders, this one takes some artistic license but is more or less true. However, the thing that is striking about this movie is the visual of the killer with the sack over his head. This was long before Friday the 13th Part 2. There was also a pretty decent remake of this film that was released in 2014. Number 6. What is Halloween 5's subtitle? The Revenge of Michael Myers. Filmed in the grand state of Utah and the surrounding areas of Salt Lake City. This is the last sequel featuring Jamie Lloyd, as played by Danielle Harris. I'm not saying this is good, but it's decent and much better than many of the sequels that have come since it. Number 7. What Stephen King adaptation centers around a gypsy curse? Thinner from 1996. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the allegorical tale about why we should keep our privates in our pants while driving. At first you get a little skinnier, but then you waste away because of a curse from a gypsy, the father of the Romani woman who you hit with your car when you didn't follow the rule of keeping your privates in your pants while driving. I mean, it isn't as easy as that. You need a hometown judge and sheriff willing to commit perjury, but still. Number 8. What is the name of the eco-horror film from 1979 starring Talia Shire? Prophecy. Instead of talking about Kahadin, a Native American spirit of the forest who is angered because of the activity of the loggers taking from the environment,
let's talk about how this was the first film made in what would come to be known as Hollywood North. Hollywood North is actually referring to Vancouver and the surrounding areas where hundreds if not thousands of Hollywood movies would be filmed in the subsequent years. What is the subtitle for Prom Night 3 from 1989? The Last Kiss. Okay, I have a confession to make. This is one film that I have yet to see. However, it looks promising, continuing the story of Mary Lou Maloney and how she manages to escape hell and return to Hamilton High to continue her evil hijinks. Number 10. What remake or reimagining that came out in 2022 had characters named the Asphyx, the Weeper, and the Gasp? Hellraiser. It had been a long time between this movie and the last time we'd had a really good Hellraiser film. That's not to say that I didn't enjoy some of the sequels here and there, but some of them weren't written as Hellraiser sequels originally and it showed. This remake brought back the grit and originality of the first few entries. It also revisited the tried and true themes such as what happens when humans have experienced everything and still lust for more.
You think you know all there is to know about horror movies? Well, instead of talking about it, why don't you prove it? Grab your phone and visit app.horrorpubtrivia.com. Try your hand at the best collection of horror movie trivia on the internet. The best thing about it is it's totally free. app.horrorpubtrivia.com.
Everybody, that was round one. Now on to round two, where we up the ante a little bit. This one is going to be all about the late, great Stuart Gordon.
You know, the man who was the man in films like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Honey, I Blew Up the Kids, and Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves into Our Lives.
Well, rest assured that there will be no questions from any of those films in this round.
Well, I was just trying to throw them a curveball, you know, so they aren't prepared for what we really have in store.
Well, let's be real. After the results just came in for round one, these people cannot take a curveball.
Oh. Question number 1. In the Dennis Paoli and Stuart Gordon film, The Dentist, 1996, who played the titular character? Question number 2. In Re-Animator from 1985, who plays the evil Dr. Carl Hill? Question number 3. In Dagon from 2001, what is the name of the Spanish coastal town where the vacationers attempted to find help after a boating accident? Question number 4. In From Beyond, 1986, what is the name of the machine that is meant to stimulate the pineal gland? Question number 5. What is the name of the movie from 2003 that is all about how a wannabe hitman is double-crossed and tortured after completing his task? Question number 6. In the 1991 film The Pit and the Pendulum, who plays the Grand Inquisitor Torquemada? Question number 7. What is the name of Gordon's 1990 film about large fighting mechs? Question number 8. In Space Truckers, 1996, What was the initial cargo of John Canyon, played by Dennis Hopper? Question number 9. In the movie Stuck, 2007, where does Tom, Stephen Rea, spend the night after he was hit by Brandy, Mina Suvari, as she was driving under the influence? Question number 10. Name one of the 2 episodes that Stuart Gordon directed for the television series Masters of Horror.
In the Dennis Paoli and Stuart Gordon film The Dentist from 1996, who played the titular character? Corbin Burnson. First of all, I love Corbin Burnson. I'm a little too young to remember him in LA Law, but I do really enjoy his work in Psych. Either way, in these movies he's great. Listen, I'm not trying to question anyone's life and career choices, but why would anybody want to be a dentist? In people's mouths all day? It sounds awful. I can totally see why one little thing such as your wife banging the pool boy would send you over the edge, since you live on that edge being a dentist every single day. Burnson does a great job in portraying that. Number 2. In Re-Animator from 1985, who plays the evil Dr. Carl Hill? David Gale. David Quentin Gale, born in 1936 and passed away too early in 1991, had the perfect presence to play the antagonist. Looking at his filmography, he worked a lot in 80s television and films and other genres as well. However, in Re-Animator, Bride of Re-Animator, and even The Brain from 1988, he exudes villainy. Number 3. In Dagon from 2001, what was the name of the Spanish coastal town where the vacationers attempted to find help after a boating accident? Imboca. Imboca, the Spanish phrase for in mouth. This film is obviously based on, at least partially, on Lovecraft's novella The Shadow over Innsmouth that was written in 1931. Instead of taking place in the northeastern part of the United States, Imboca is located somewhere off the Spanish coast. Number 4. In From Beyond from 1986, what is the name of the machine that is meant to stimulate the pineal gland? The Resonator. At least the second teaming of Stuart Gordon and Dennis Paoli presenting a film based on an H.P. Lovecraft story for Charles Band's Empire International Pictures. This wouldn't be the last time they would team up and do Lovecraft for Charles Band, actually. They also worked together on 1995's Castle Freak for Full Moon Entertainment. Coincidentally, or maybe not so coincidentally, all 3 films starred Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton, both amazing and talented actors in 3 amazing movies. Number 5. What is the name of the movie from 2003 that is all about how a wannabe hitman is double-crossed and tortured after completing his task? King of the Ants. One of Gordon's lesser-known films is less of a horror movie and more of an action/drama. That's not to say that it doesn't have its wild moments, however. In fact, this might have the most disturbing scene that Kari Wurr has ever acted in. If you know what I'm talking about, you'll understand what I mean when I say that it wasn't fair for this shot to start off that wonderfully, just to end so historically gross. Number 6. In the 1991 film The Pit and the Pendulum, who plays the Grand Inquisitor Torquemada? Lance Henriksen. Lance Henriksen has been in hundreds of films over the years. I think we'd be hard-pressed to find someone who doesn't recognize his face. However, out of all of the films he starred in, this is the only one where he plays a man so horny that he's about to explode. Number 7. What is the name of Gordon's 1990 film about large fighting mechs? Robot Jocks. Another Empire picture for Charles Band. This time, Gordon ditches the straight-up horror of an apocalyptic sci-fi film where after a nuclear holocaust, traditional war was outlawed, so regions' disputes are now settled through fights carried out by giant mechs. This film features amazing stop-motion work from David Allen. You'll recognize Allen's work from films like Puppet Master in 1989, Primeval's 2023, and even some work on Joe Dante's The Howling from 1981. Number 8. In Space Truckers from 1996, what was the initial cargo of John Canyon, played by Dennis Hopper? Square pigs, or pigs. This underseen Gordon film, starring Dennis Hopper, Charles Dance, and Stephen Dorff, is really kind of a weird mashup of sci-fi, thriller, and exciting look at a corporate trucking politics. Guess you're gonna have to take my word for that it's much better than its description. Number 9. In the movie Stuck from 2007, where does Tom, Stephen Rea, spend the night after he was hit by Brandy, Mina Suvari, as she was driving under the influence, in Brandy's garage through the windshield. This is the lovely story about a man played by Stephen Rea who was having the absolute worst day of his life. Not only did his unemployment run out, but he was recently evicted from his place. Well, that seems like a bad day, but nothing like getting hit by an inebriated driver, being lodged in the windshield, and because the driver is up for a promotion, she chooses to attempt to hide this incident by pulling her into her garage and leaving him in it, still stuck in the windshield. Name one of the 2 episodes that Stuart Gordon directed for the television series Masters of Horror from 2007. H.P. Lovecraft's Dream in the Witch House or The Black Cat. In 2006, Mick Garris, director of Critters 2, The Stand, Sleepwalkers, among others, premiered his first episode of what would become 2 seasons of Masters of Horror on Showtime/Starz. The idea was to give every masterful horror director a budget to make a 60-minute episode. Folks that were included were Don Coscarelli, Stuart Gordon, Toby Hooper, Dario Argento, Joe Dante, John Landis, John Carpenter, and Takashi Miike, among others. Like I said, this only lasted 2 seasons, but it did morph into Fear itself in 2008. A similar idea, but made for a network television. That's not to say that there weren't terrifying episodes, but it never seemed to have the quality of Masters of Horror.
Here's a few reasons you should watch Cinema Insomnia on OSI 74.
Laser beams are drilling. I'm holding my head, I don't even feel it. Zombies out for killing, but I'm not scared at all, cause I've already seen it. Nothing else matters.
Convinced?
Do you have hepatitis?
Well, watch anyway.
Would you like hepatitis?
You're not dreaming. You're watching Cinema Insomnia. They're not bad movies, just misunderstood. New episodes only on OSI 74.
All right, everyone, for round 3, we have provincial horror. Mike, what pray tell is provincial horror?
Well, the Oxford Dictionary defines provincial as an inhabitant of the regions outside the capital city of a country, especially when regarded as unsophisticated or narrow-minded.
Well, that doesn't seem so bad.
Well, it's 2025. It's important to welcome everyone in the spirit of inclusivity and not use offensive language.
Uh-huh.
Wait, what? Okay, well, I don't know why. I mean, I could call it redneck horror. I could call it hillbilly horror. I could call it hill horror. But guess what? I'm not that kind of guy.
Well, maybe we should go with provincial horror.
All right. Let's
Except
get into
now I know.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Question number 1. What actor in 1972's Deliverance was ordered to squeal like a pig? Question number 2. What former music video director directed the Texas Chain Saw Massacre from 2003 as well as the remake of Friday the 13th from 2009? Question number 3. Who were the main antagonists in Eden Lake from 2008? Question number 4. In The Hills Run Red from 2009, what is the title of the fabled scariest movie of all time that was lost when its director, Wilson Concanon, disappeared? Question number 5. What is the name of the character that Kane Hodder plays in the Hatchet series? Question number 6. What movie from 2010 is about all of the members of a New England town disappearing in 1940 and whose title references The Wizard of Oz? Question number 7. What made-for-TV movie from 1981 tells the story of vengeance after a small-town local kills a mentally challenged man named Bubba Ritter, played by Larry Drake? Question number 8. What film from 2013 tells the story of a teen girl pregnant with her brother's child who is trying to escape her small community when the entity that the community worships chooses her for a human sacrifice? Question number 9. What is the surname of the family of cannibals in the Texas Chain Saw Massacre from 1974? Question number 10. In Tourist Trap from 1979, what is the name of the main antagonist who in real life played minor league baseball and professional basketball?
Which actor in 1972's Deliverance was ordered to squeal like a pig? Ned Beatty or Bobby? As often as this topic of inbreeding, and let's just say redneck relief, is a topic in one of these provincial horror movies, this is the oldest movie that I know of that goes full bore into it. Admit it. In your history, you've told one of your friends that they have a purty mouth. What former music video director directed the Chainsaw Massacre from 2003, as well as the remake of Friday the 13th from 2009? Marcus Nispel. You can disagree with me all you want, but I think that both of these remakes are decent. Not great, but entertaining enough. You have to admit that Nispel has some balls for remaking two of the most beloved horror films of all time. Number 3. Who were the main antagonists in Eden Lake from 2008? A pack of kids. Man, there is nothing I hate more than a pack of punk kids. As a certified old dude, I need these little shits to stay off my lawn. Well, the kids in this one were an especially nasty set of dickheads. One thing of note about this movie is that Kelly Riley and Michael Fassbender both did a great job in this one. Number 4. In The Hills Run Red from 2009, what was the title of the fabled scariest movie of all time that was lost when its director Wilson Concanon disappeared? The Hills Run Red. A super underrated late 2000s slasher starring William Sadler and Sophie Monk. It's surprisingly dark and brutal. Number 5. What was the name of the character that Kane Hodder played in the Hatchet series? Victor Crowley. Kane Hodder, the imposing stuntman, has been involved in hundreds of films in his career. Even though he does play Victor Crowley, he's probably best known for his role as Jason Voorhees in the Friday the 13th series. Ironically enough, as at the time of this episode was being written, Kane had played Victor Crowley the same number of times as he's played Jason Voorhees, which is 4. Number 6. What movie from 2010 is about the members of a New England town disappearing in 1940 and whose title references The Wizard of Oz? Yellow Brick Road. This film, although being slow and subtle at times, it can feel very disturbing to the viewer. In some of the marketing for this film, it warns the viewer that watching this movie may make you go mad. Number 7. What made-for-TV movie from 1981 tells the story of vengeance after a small-town local kills a mentally challenged man named Bubba Ritter, played by Larry Drake? Obviously, revenge movies, viewers will be on the side of the character enacting the revenge. The victim in this film is none other than Bubba Ritter, played by Larry Drake, a mentally challenged man who was accused of severely injuring a small young girl. The townspeople, led by Otis Hazelrig, played by Charles Durning, they execute him. But he comes back for his revenge. Larry Drake is so good in this made-for-TV movie. I remember cheering aloud when Bubba starts picking off the good old boys one by one. Number 8. What film from 2013 tells the story of a teen girl pregnant with her brother's child who is trying to escape her small community when the entity that the community worship chooses her for a human sacrifice? Jugface. This is a surprisingly interesting low-budget movie. Not only does it fit in this provincial horror tag, but it nestles itself right in with folk horror. If you haven't seen it, let's just say that the local beliefs and legends that the people in this movie live by is very unique. Check it out if you haven't yet. Number 9. What is the surname of the family of cannibals in the Texas Chain Saw Massacre from 1974? Sawyer. Not to be mistaken for a Hewitt, which is the surname for the family in the 2003 remake, the Sawyers are a unique crew of characters. Whether it be Grandpa, played by John Duggan, Jim Seadow as the old man, Edwin Neal as the hitchhiker, or Gunnar Hansen playing Leatherface, I'm not wanting to see them or anyone like them out and about. Number 10. In Tourist Trap from 1979, what is the name of the main antagonist who in real life played minor league baseball and professional basketball? Chuck Connors. In Tourist Trap, Chuck Connors no doubt looks like a retired athlete. All-American, tall, rugged. Not only did he have a professional basketball career in the minors and the bigs, he was enlisted in the Army and served as a tank warfare instructor. However, that didn't stop him from having 138 acting credits on IMDb, including 168 episodes in the television show The Rifleman from 1958 to 1963.
All right, everyone.
Oh, shit.
Thanks for playing Betty Cadaver's Horror Pub Trivia, Season 3, Episode 1.
All right.
I hope you had a good time.
You know, I hope you had a good time too. But don't forget to visit horrorpubtrivia.com for more information about this show, and corpsecollective.com for information about other projects that we've got going on there.
You call this power play.